For 3 decades, the world believed it, knew Neil Diamond. The bright lights, the sold-out arenas, the anthems that felt like they belonged to everyone. He smiled, bowed, and walked off stage to thunderous applause. But when the curtain fell, and the crowds went home, another life began, a quieter one, a hidden one. And for 30 years, almost no one saw it coming. In the late hours after a concert, while the crew packed cables and fans replayed his songs in their cars, Neil Diamond often slipped into silence. Hotel rooms, empty hallways, a man alone with melodies that didn't feel triumphant at all. He was celebrated as a voice of joy and nostalgia, yet he carried a weight that didn't match the songs people sang at the top of their lungs. What happens when the man who makes millions feel understood, feels completely unseen himself? There are stories from musicians who crossed paths with him in the 70s and 80s. They'd expect the charismatic star. Instead, they'd find someone withdrawn, almost guarded. Conversations stayed shallow. Smiles didn't always reach his eyes. Some assumed it was arrogance. Others thought it was exhaustion. Few suspected it was something much deeper. A split between the Neil Diamond the world adored and the Neil Diamond who questioned everything once the spotlight dimmed. At home, away from cameras, he wrote constantly, not just hits, but songs no one would hear. Lyrics filled with doubt, longing, and fear of being forgotten. He rarely shared them. Friends recall notebooks stacked in drawers, pages never meant for an audience. Why would someone at the top of the world write as if they were afraid of disappearing? Behind the scenes, his personal life reflected the same divide. Relationships struggled under the weight of fame and absence. He could fill a stadium, but couldn't always be fully present at home. Loved ones sensed the distance, but couldn't name it. How do you confront someone who gives so much of himself to the world that there's almost nothing left behind closed doors? As the years went on, the mask became heavier. He kept touring, kept smiling, kept delivering the songs people expected. But there were nights when he'd step off stage and feel hollow. Applause faded quickly. Silence rushed in faster. And with it came the question he never voiced publicly. If the music stopped, who would he be? There's a moment recalled by a longtime collaborator late at night in a studio. Neil sat alone at the piano, lights low, playing a melody that sounded nothing like his hits. Slow, fragile. When asked why he didn't record it, he simply said, "That one's not for them." Who was it for then? And why was that side of him hidden for so long? The double life wasn't scandalous. It wasn't criminal. It was emotional, psychological. A quiet battle between the image of strength and the reality of vulnerability. For 30 years, he mastered the art of giving people what they wanted to hear, while protecting the parts of himself that felt too raw, too uncertain to share. Then came the moment everything shifted. Not a headline, not a leak, but time. Age began to strip away the energy required to maintain two lives. The distance between the performer and the person narrowed. When he finally stepped back from touring, fans were shocked. Many asked why. Few realized how long he had been running on emotional fumes. When he eventually opened up about his struggles and his health, the revelation felt like a crack in a long-sealed door. Suddenly, the songs sounded different. Lyrics once thought joyful carried new meaning. Lines about loneliness, resilience, and searching took on a deeper truth. Had he been telling us all along, hidden in plain sight? Looking back, the clues were always there. The intensity, the introspection, the way his music often sounded like a conversation with himself. Maybe the double life wasn't about deception, but survival. Maybe it was the only way he knew how to keep going. So what does it cost to be loved by millions? And how many artists are still living this same quiet split, applauded on stage and unheard in private? Neil Diamond's story leaves us with an uncomfortable question. How often do we mistake success for happiness? And how many people around us are living lives we never truly see? Because sometimes, the loudest voices are hiding the deepest silence.